Okay, thank you so much, Marisa, for your kind presentation. And good morning, good afternoon, good night to everyone. Hello to everyone. Yeah, I hope that you can see my screen. Is it fine?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. So, my presentation today is about the tools that can be used by citizens, not only by citizens and through citizens, but where citizens can contribute and citizens can use for monitoring the environment. And I will tell you about one example that is uh, uh, almost finished because it is a 3 years project and we are almost at the end. So this project is called SIMILE. It's a SIMILE stands for Informative System for the Integrated Monitoring of Insubric Lakes and their ecosystems. And I will explain you the different parts of this title. So first of all, we are dealing with an example which is located between Italy and Switzerland, and specifically in this region that you see here, northern of Milan, and that you see here more in details. So it is a region, a cross-border region between Italy and Switzerland. And what is interesting is that it's a region of lakes. You see here some of the lakes covering this part of territory. And the first point is that the presence of the lakes is very important for the touristic point of view, obviously, because you can see here some picture of this area, which is a very beautiful area. I suggest you to come here if you have not been come. And but the other point is that it is really important also from the ecological point of view, because as a matter of fact, this lake district sees the presence of a few among the most representative large and deep lakes in Europe, like the lakes of Garda, Maggiore, Como, Iseo, Lugano, and they represent almost altogether the 80% of the total freshwater volume in Italy. So for sure for Italy, but in general for Europe, this region is really important. And I want to underline that the importance is increasing now that we are starting facing problems also related to the climate change. So we have to monitor and to be sure to save this lake with respect to all the possible pollutions or ecological problems. Okay, so we started this project, which has as goals the protection. Oh, sorry, the protection of. Okay, the protection of water quality of these the insubric lakes. I didn't tell you are the lakes Maggiore, Como, Lugano. So the lakes in that part north of Milan. So the first goal is to protect the water quality, and the second goal is to improve the lake hydraulic resource evaluation and management capacity. How we decided to do that? We decided to consider different new tools for monitoring these resource. And specifically, besides the traditional way of monitoring the lake, so collecting samples and analyzing them in the lab, which takes a lot of time and therefore cannot be so frequent, we decided to add some more other tools. One is the usage of new sensors, low-cost sensors, which are put on buoys. The second one is to consider satellite data. And the third one, and this is the reason why I'm telling you this project here, is because the third one is to exploit the power of the crowd or the power of the citizens. Okay, so this is the first strategy. The second strategy is to increase the environmental awareness and promote all the legal and administrative cooperation between citizens and institutions. And finally, the third one, as those lakes are cross-border lakes, the last one is to consider cross-border operative agreement and policy brief between Italy and Switzerland. Okay, obviously, this is a big project and many different partners are involved. As you can see, there are universities, both in Italy and Switzerland. There are research centers, but there are also administrations like Lombardy region or the Ticino canton in Switzerland, together with the agencies which are in charge of the monitoring the lake. And then, other important point, there is a huge involvement also of citizens, and you will see in which way. Okay, so this is more or less the complete architecture of the system. I told you that we are dealing with new sensors, high frequency. They are making measurement in real time, new hydrological and ecological modeling that using also satellite data and then citizen science data, both crowdsourced and citizen science data. And all these pieces of information go to a platform, which is a standard platform with respect to the standardization of the Open Geospatial Consortium. And there is a business intelligence platform which provides knowledge about the situation of the lakes, both for citizens and for decision makers, for technicians who help decision makers in making their decision. Okay, this is the result of the platform. You can see here the link if you are interested, and you see that there is the description of the 3 lakes that are involved, but here on the left, you see also this SIMILE web app and this web GIS. I will come soon to these 2 links for better describing to you. Okay, so there is the description of the lakes. Unfortunately, this is a website in Italian because it's managed between Italy and the Italian part of Swiss, but most of pieces of information are provided in terms of maps or plots, and so I believe that everyone can understand. Coming to the different methodologies that are used, I told you that there are the traditional lab analysis, the high frequency sensors, satellite images, and then exploiting the power of the people. And all those different methodologies are really different in terms of time resolution. And you see here, for instance, in case of high frequency sensors, they are very in real time, as a matter of fact, so very good the time resolution, but it's not good the space resolution because we have just a few sensors in the lake, obviously, if they are low cost, but they are costly in any case. And on the opposite, if we consider the satellite images, they have a time resolution of some days, but the space resolution is much better because we can have pixels of information all over the lakes with a resolution that can be 30 meters or 300 meters, depending on the satellite we are using. Okay, and here you see the different parameters that we are analyzing, where specifically we can see what are the parameters collected by the people, the citizen science. With respect to the satellite images, I go very quickly to the other methods. With respect to the satellite images, starting from 2019, we created almost 370 maps of chlorophyll in the lakes, and the same for total suspended matter. On the opposite, starting from Sentinel-3, and starting from the data of Landsat 8, we created 69 maps of the surface temperature of the lakes. And here you can see in the WebGIS, so the WebGIS that you see on the portal, you can, moving the slide bar, you can see the evolution in time of these parameters. The second way for monitoring is the way related to the high frequency sensors. So I told you that we put some buoys in the lakes, and then through a sensor observation service, the data go directly to the platform, and they are processed in real time with some also functionalities for a real-time validation, and then following better validation. Then coming to what the crowd can help in this project, before I will tell you what we did with respect to the crowdsourcing. So the passive action of the people. And specifically with respect to that, what we considered were the data of this initiative, which are the Facebook Data for Good initiative. Those data are available for research, and you can find more pieces of information here at this website. What is interesting and we used was this count of the average number of users of Facebook. Obviously, we don't have the number of people, but we have the number of users of Facebook with a spatial resolution of 850 meters per 850 meters and a temporal resolution of 8 hours. So definitely very interesting. And as you can see here, we had this data for the 3 lakes starting from 2020. And so the first very trivial analysis is to plot these data and see the evolution per month, per week, and so on of those data. But a second level of analysis can be that one where we can check which are the locations with the maximum pressure. And you see that the maximum pressure is for sure in the largest city, which are here, but also, for instance, here, because here we have Bellagio. And we know that Bellagio is a very famous spot from the touristic point of view. So that is very interesting. But on the other side, the local administrator have to take into account that there is a strong pressure of people on this village, because as a matter of fact, it is only a village. And then we can also analyze what happens in the different months of the year, and we can see what happens during the week or what happens during the weekends. Like if we analyze the Lake of Como, you see that the most of the pressure during the weekdays is again in the big city where people go for working, probably. On the opposite, during the weekend is much more spread also in the other parts of the lake, which are where we don't have big cities but small villages. So this is a good index that can be reused for local administrator, also for better knowing and better tuning the services that they have to make available. But the second part, which is also more interesting, is the part where people are actively contributing. And with respect to that, we develop an app, which is a cross-platform app. And you see here, if you are interested, these are the QR code for connecting to the app. But I suggest you to wait because now we are doing some adaptive software maintenance, and therefore in 2 weeks, or better, next week, you will have the new version for Android, and in 2 weeks, the version for iOS, so the updated version of the app. It is available, but my suggestion is to wait. And so this app is an app that allows us to ask people of collecting observation, measurement, and meanwhile communicating about events, and also educating a bit of the people, because there is a glossary with many terms that can be used for better explaining what's happening on the lake and so on. So what are we collecting? We are collecting all the evidence about issues in the lake, like algae bloom, trace, litter, foam, and so on. And the contribution is guided, so the people can simply upload the photo of what they see, or there is also the possibility guiding them to add some more pieces of information, like the extension and how many pieces you see, and so on and so on. But this is optional. So what is requested is at least to upload a picture showing what you want to communicate to us. Okay. On the other side, to see what was contributed by people, we make available also the web app. And this is the second link that I showed you in the portal, the web app. The web app is showing which are the data contributed by people. This web app has a double function. It is something that can be seen by everyone. So you can enter as a normal user, and you have the possibility of watching what was contributed and all the data and so on. Or there is an access only for the technician who can work on the data, validate them, clean if there are some wrong data, and so on. Okay, but this platform is available for everyone. So if you are curious, you can go there and check which data were contributed. Obviously, for having people contributing to our project, we needed, but we wanted also to have many events with the citizens, and we were able of giving lessons and involving around 1,200 students, so 60 classes, 16 schools, and many associations. As you see here, 9 associations that are Association of Divers, Canoeists, Amateur Fishermen, Kayakers. So people who are interested in the life of the lake. And you see here some picture. Obviously, speaking about schools, we didn't limit ourselves in asking students to collect data, but there was also a huge part related to education. So we gave seminars and workshops for students and pupils, teaching them also how to build simple tools, like for instance, in this case, the Seki disk, which is used for measuring the turbidity of the water. The future, something we are still already working, but we want to consider in the future, is to consider if there is the possibility of coupling machine learning and citizen science in such a way to provide the citizens some pieces of information back using machine learning, like, for instance, if the data they submitted are correct or they can be wrong, and so on. And the second point is that we realize in these years that sometimes people are not happy of installing a new app on your mobile phone. And so now there is another possibility, which is reusing already existing apps, like in this case, Telegram. So instead of asking people to install something new, reusing something that they are more familiar with, and as we did in this example, this recent example, developing a chat bot for collecting the data. So next, in the future, what we want to do is to change a bit the philosophy going toward this direction. And I believe that I finish. I also put some references if you are interested in the topics I suggested, I proposed you. What is important, in my opinion, is to be able to build these virtual circle between people, administrators, university researchers, and so on, all of us contributing to this, this specific source of richness, which is the water of the lakes. Okay, thank you so much.